account for our child and put in place family safety settings on Windows 8. We go to the menu down the right hand side and click on Settings. Down in the bottom right hand corner you'll see Change PC Settings. We click on there and it will take us to the accounts that are on our device, the computer that we're using. To be able to put these settings in place, we will need to be the administrator of the account. If our child is the administrator, that's okay. We can change them to a standard user account, which we'll see later. These are the accounts that are currently on the computer. You will see that we can add an account. Down the bottom in Windows 8, it will say Add a Child's Account. So we click on that link, press Next, and then it will take us to another screen whereby we can put an email address in for our child, which will give them access to all functionality on the internet, or we can just press Create Account without an email address. Then it takes us to this screen where we can set up the account. We put our child's name in, or the name we want as the user account, a password. This is the password they will need to log into this account where the settings are going to be put in place. We click Next and we can see the new account has been added. So the child can log into this account and you'll see there Jimmy, it's a child account and it's local, which means there's no email address attached to it, which means he doesn't have the option of accessing various functionality on the internet. It's local to this device. So we're going to go back to our start screen. You can see that we're logged in as admin. We go to the right again, go to the menu bar. Now we're going to go up to search. Now in here, we're going to type in family safety. This is what Windows call these settings. They are also commonly called parental controls. They're the accounts that are on the computer. You'll see admin, that's ours, and there's Jimmy's. He is a standard user, which means he is not an administrator. That is a good thing. Family safety is on, and he requires a password to log in to the device when he wants to use it. This screen here is indicating the functionality of family safety, what is and isn't available to us. So we click on Jimmy, and as you can see down the right hand side, what we're putting in place relates to Jimmy's account. It says family safety is on, activity reporting is on, which means it's going to make a record of all the activity that occurs on this device in Jimmy's account. And then we have our settings underneath that called Windows Settings, which relates to web filtering, time limits, game and Windows Store app restrictions, and also desktop app restrictions. We're going to go into web filtering. Which websites can Jimmy view? At this stage, Jimmy can use all websites. So we click on Jimmy can only use the websites I allow. We go into Set Web Filtering Level, and it's set to online communication. So we can read through those, they're fairly self-explanatory, and depending on our child, perhaps their age, we decide which is the best option for our child and our family. In here, we can whitelist and blacklist sites. So we type in the web address as we become aware of it, and we go allow or block. Over on the right hand side, we click on there when we type it in, and it will block those websites. Perhaps our child is at an age where we don't want them to view YouTube because of some of the inappropriate content or videos that are there. So we could type in YouTube, www.youtube.com, and they won't be allowed to access that. We've now gone into control when Jimmy can use the PC, time restrictions. At this stage, it's by default set that Jimmy can use it all the time. Jimmy can only use the PC for amount of time I allow. So when we go into that, we can set a curfew. So that will restrict the times of the day he can get on. Again, very self-explanatory. So we can go in there and just see what's there. Okay, so we can set time allowance or set a curfew. At this stage, Jimmy can play all games and view all Windows Store apps. So we can control the games and the apps that are able to be accessed by Jimmy on this device. We then go down to desktop app restrictions. By default, it's set that Jimmy can use all apps. So we can tick here the apps on the device that Jimmy can use. Over to the right hand side, you'll see that the settings have been changed. The web filtering set to online communication, time limits are on. We then go into the activity report. This shows what's been happening on the device only in Jimmy's account. So we click on websites visited. Because the account's just been created, there's none there, but it will show us what websites were visited by Jimmy on this device, what files have been downloaded, what apps have been used, and what games have been played. Those are blank because the account Jimmy has just been created. We go back to the control panel. We click on the active link control panel home, where we can also get access to set up family safety for any user. But above that is change account type. So if our child is already the administrator, we can change that.